the privacy of my clients, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the girl down the street or someone famous. The fact that I worked with Steve Jobs is something that I drop with every client. I'm like,
Haleh,
Carolyn.
you are in charge of people's memories. What is the most shocking thing that you have ever seen in all of your experience as a curator of memories?
Do I only get to choose one thing, or can I choose
You can
three
choose
things?
multiple things.
Pictures of a lot of body parts. We had a client whose father was an orthopedic surgeon in the 70s and 80s, and he had a really fancy camera, and he took a lot of photos of body parts. And for some reason, my client wanted to have that scanned. We were lucky enough to convince her not to have it scanned. But, other than that, we get the nudie stuff, both video and photo. But that's not super shocking, as it's their own private, their own private collection. So, but the body parts was pretty shocking.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm candidly Carolyn, and I ask the questions that are real, raw, and unscripted. Today, I'm with Haleh Shoa with Picturely. I'm super curious to ask you about why people want to archive all of their memories. Like, what is the main reason why most people want to go through this process to send you the information and basically release all of their private photos and videos to you and then archive them and organize them?
Well, it's the only thing other than our pets and the people in our lives that we can't replace.
Ooh.
So, and our time, right? Those three things, we can't replace: our time, the pets, and the people in our lives. And as we could see from all the different wildfires, like people lost everything. And with that is their entire family history. The non-fear factor is that people have anxiety as to not knowing how to go about organizing their photos and how to properly archive it. I have a lot of clients who are like, well, I could put it in a box, but what if they lose my only scrapbook of my grandmother's? So it's that anxiety of, who am I giving it to? How do I really do this? And am I going to do it right if I do it myself? So we end up doing it because we know how to do this, and this is all we do.
Why did you decide to get into this business?
God.
Tell me.
Is that a generic answer?
No, but I love that answer. Keep going.
I was literally pulled to do this. And what does that mean? I have knowledge of, I worked in advertising for 27 years, and I know how to do assets, like manage assets. And on the side, on a personal note, my family left Iran during the 1979 revolution, and they were not able to bring anything other than 3 suitcases of photographs with them.
Yeah.
So when I was in my 20s and we had some downtime and at work, I would start bringing in one bunch of photos at a time and start scanning those photos. And so, and of course, we had access to email, and so I would send it. I have family in 4 continents, so I would send some of these photos to my family, and they were like, "Oh my God, where did this come from? We've never seen this." So it was an amalgamation of my knowledge of how to manage photos and really my love of preserving my own family memories, and working with a life coach, very similar to you. I started to really dig deep as to what I love doing. And at the time, it was 10 years ago, I just said, I love making photo books.
Wow.
And she said, okay, well, let's look into that. I'm like, who's going to pay me advertising dollars to make photo books? So it was like a little bit of everything that I was really here to do. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to take the leap and get certified. So I'm a certified professional photo organizer, photo manager.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
There
as
is such a thing.
Professional. Okay, well, that makes sense because I know you deal with a lot of very high profile clients, a lot of celebrities, athletes, those types of people, and you're seeing very exclusive, let's say, content.
That's right.
And so what do you think it is about you and Picture Lee that gives them that confidence to hand over all of that information and access, which I know, to the cloud, because that's another thing that you do.
Yes.
Access to their cloud and the cloud for them. How do you transmit that level of trust?
The fact that I worked with Steve Jobs is something that I drop with every client. I'm like, I got trained on privacy. It was a really rigorous training, and the privacy of my clients, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the girl down the street or someone famous. It doesn't matter. Your privacy is of utmost important to us. And so we have a lot of systems put in place in our studio where your assets are completely safe because we use local servers that are not backed up anywhere else. It's backed up onto itself. It's got redundancy. And we have different RAIDs for different, and I'm getting a little technical here, but basically I need to make sure that what comes into the studio stays in the studio and is safe locked. So,
but what do you think it is within you in terms of like your energy or your persona that gives them that level of trust? Because they meet you and then pretty soon thereafter they're handing over the box of the golden box of everything.
I think it's because I just really, truly, and genuinely love learning about people's families. And I don't really get rattled over the fancy house that you have or what kind of family you come from. Or, again, I think everyone's family is equally important to them.
Yeah.
No matter what color, creed, class, economics that you come from. I just care. I care about what her relationship is like with her family, and of course it's complicated when you're at that level.
Yeah.
Our family member relationships can be complicated, even for me, I always say I'm not my client. I can't afford my services.
So what's been one of the most complicated jobs that you've worked on?
My very first client out the gate, she was a really prominent figure in Los Angeles. This was at the very last chapter of her life. We got to work with her for 2 years before she passed. She had a lot of life in her to preserve her memories in a very specific manner. She had over 30,000 photos.
Wow.
And she wanted to she didn't necessarily want to organize and preserve them, which is what we do, which is what we're really good at. But she wanted us to create scrapbook pages for her from various photos. So we had to have a scanner at her house. And then she wanted to embellish it with like ribbons and things that she had collected over the last 80 years of her life.
Wow.
Over her travels to, I think, 80 countries. And so it was a lot of the hard part was that we just needed to do what she wanted us to do rather than what we were really good at. But that's the part of entrepreneurship is when you first start, you don't know, you kind of don't know what you don't know. And you're going to say yes to a lot of things that may not necessarily, let's just say that are all stepping stones into you learning why you started it.
Definitely.
So it's like, okay, so this is not what I want to do, but it pushes you more towards your why.
What really feels in alignment with you related to your purpose in this work?
It's not the types of projects. Honestly, it's the feeling that it invokes. And I want people to feel healed when we are done with a project.
Wow. Okay.
I want them to really feel like, oh my God, yes, we got this done and this is incredible. That's the feeling that I go for.
Okay.
I am clairescence, means that I am drawn energetically to how I feel about projects and how I feel about people. So that's the energy that I want with every project that I want to be able to deliver. Every client gets their archive organized in a slightly different way.
Okay. What is one piece of advice that you could give to people that they could start now in order to help the archiving and the preservation of photos and video process for themselves?
Don't wait too long to talk to the elders about who's in your photos.
Yeah.
I get too many clients who are like, oh, my parents died and I don't know who these people are. And they look just like them. Second thing with your digital, Digital assets are the most vulnerable for loss. So make sure that's backed up.
Yeah. So now is the part in this little interview where you get to ask me any one question that you want if you so desire.
Oh, when you met me, what was your draw?
Oh,
I mean, I can talk about what my draw was to you as well, but I would like to know.
Sure, I would love to hear what your draw was after I will say what. I read energy, so everybody I think knows that I'm an intuitive business coach and I read energy. And I remember when I met you at the networking happy hour, and you just had this brightness to you, and you just have this high energy. When I found out you did this, I was just like, there's very few people you're like only one person that I know besides that. So this is like an amazing resource.
Just people who do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I first met you, what really drew me into just continuing to talk to you, because I have ADHD, and if I'm not interested, I'm moving on. Truth, hashtag. But it was I just really felt seen, but genuinely seen.
Aww.
I feel like, wait, I think I want to talk to her some more.
That's such a big compliment. I really appreciate that, because so many people were walking around and so many times we feel invisible. And to truly feel seen.
I felt seen.
Thank you. And I think that's what you do with your clients.
Yes.
Is you are taking these memories and these precious moments, and you are helping them feel them and re-see them. That's probably what you're talking about with the healing. And then I look at my life and I'm like, oh my God, my life is like so amazing, because I see all my photos.
Yeah.
And I see all the things that I'm doing and the things that otherwise you're just kind of like forgetting. I want to thank you for what you're doing to heal our photo and video archiving, because this is a huge thing that stresses people out.
Yes.
And what you're doing is like so important and so vital, is keeping those memories alive and organized. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I'm Candidly Carolyn. Thanks for watching. If you know anyone you think I should talk to and ask the questions people really want the answers to, send me an email below, carolyn@carolynhorey.com. Bye for now.